Today on episode 214 of Typical Chicago Fans, we have Sinkers and Floaters, the TCF Sports Minute, our NFL playoff preview, college basketball rundown, and the TCF top 3 of our New Year's resolutions. Let's roll. Hello and welcome back to Typical Chicago Fans, brought to you by our incredible sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee. This is episode 214, our first of 2024. Sorry, guys, it's been a very busy, 9 days. So this is our first episode of 2024. Make sure you find us on Twitter or X at typical_Chicago. Head to Facebook and Instagram. Give those pages a like as well for all of our content in video form. Go on over to YouTube, subscribe there. Working on 2 new food reviews that we recorded over around Christmas. So those will be coming out soon. Wherever you get your podcasts, we are there. Make sure you subscribe, rate, review wherever you get them. But you can find me on Twitter at BoomyTCF, and of course Zach over at ZLilia TCF. Zach, we always got to start out with the weather, man. This sucks. We are
it finally snowed.
It did. We haven't had snow, I think, a good snow since Halloween, and we finally got it on June 9th.
We did have snow on Christmas, but we're going to have it on my birthday, which is just weird.
Shout out to you, man. Happy birthday. The day this will come out on the 10th.
This subtle like, you better tell me happy birthday.
Yeah, 29, right?
Yeah. My last birthday in my 20s, which that's crazy to say.
And not even to add to it being, how long has it been since you've had a drink of alcohol?
It'll be, I think, 16 weeks.
So birthday, almost 4 months. I mean, you talk about new year, new me, dude. That's you. You 10 days in, you got a birthday, you're sober. I mean, that's a new year, new Zach.
See, I started my New Year's resolution just a little bit early, but thank you very much. But yeah, snowy, shitty on my birthday. It's gonna suck.
Gotta go to work no matter what.
Yeah, it's such a heavy snow. It was kind of cool on my back porch. I have a table, and the snow was perfectly on it, so I can take a tape measure for it and see how much it has actually gone up. And I think it was at one point just around 6 inches.
Oh, now obviously some of that's wind stuff. I don't know how they do accumulation, but
yeah, because but it's kind of I think it would be a good way of looking at it because it's just a flat table out there that just like I said, where we live though, it's so windy that it blows all over, so you wouldn't really know it was 6 inches, but it's been snowing for quite a while.
Yeah, it's been over 24 hours since I have left the house. I think that I've been in the house. I think we're recording this. It's 9 o'clock on Tuesday. I think I got in the house at 6:30 on Monday. I haven't even gone outside to move my car. So
it's been a while since we've had a good old-fashioned snow day. We've had some ice days, cold days, but we really haven't had a snow day in a while. Yeah. And those just hit different.
Yeah, man. And I think it's supposed to snow again on Friday. Or it's going to snow until Wednesday morning. But Friday we're supposed to get it again.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, that's for 2 guys that.
No, I think your mother is one of those people. Just crazy.
I like the sight of the way things look outside right now, but I also understand the fact that I have to go out.
Yeah,
go
outside and drive around and.
Yeah, not looking forward to that. So that is lunacy. But before we get going, let's go ahead. Dive into things. Let's start off as we always do: sinkers and floaters. And I'm going to start off with my sinker, and that is cheating, because the Michigan Wolverines proved on Monday night that cheating wins national championships. So
I guess,
it clearly worked. So they, I don't know about you, the national championship was an okay game for about 3 quarters. I don't think
that kind of stunk. You always knew Michigan was going to win the game. I think everyone knew whoever won the Alabama-Michigan game was most likely going to win the national championship. Harbaugh gets his national championship, and now he's on his way to the Bears, right?
Yeah, hey, you might be right. Well, we'll talk about the Bears here in a minute, but I don't think there's going to be anybody coming to the Bears.
Yeah, that might
I
just
don't know.
be
I don't even
staying with
necessarily.
what they have, but yeah,
I don't even
cheating
necessarily like
gets you. Look at
dislike
the
Michigan.
Astros.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't necessarily even like dislike them. I just, you know me, I'm kind of the contrarian and like to stir things up on, with people. And that's just kind of, I was like, oh, you get caught cheating. And it's the worst case scenario for the NCAA, which I find hilarious.
Yeah, what are they going to do? They're going to go back and take it away?
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter. They got that moment. They got the championship. And like I said, sometimes cheating works, I guess.
Yeah. And let's be honest. If you don't think that other schools are doing what Michigan did, you're crazy.
Yeah, they're a really good team.
Yes. Yeah. That they were special. I did enjoy seeing someone not named Alabama or Georgia win the national title, though. That was the one positive thing.
Yeah. My sinker, though, it is the act of having to get rid of the snow. Push it. Get out of your way. You have to drive through it, or you have to go out and do something about it, and that sucks, especially heavy snow. People who like the snow, even when a snow blower, you still have to do some sort of work to do that. Yeah. It's no fun.
Yeah, and like I've talked about it a million times. I live, out in the country, and our driveway's not long, but it's not short. It's very, very difficult to shovel. So then, if you're talking about not doing that, then you got to pay someone to do it with a plow, and not everybody, plows are hard to come by. And let's be honest, snowplow guys can charge whatever they want.
Yeah, whatever they want. They could be charging you like 3 times of what they should, and you would be like, okay, what am I going to do?
Yeah, exactly. I hate shoveling, and I have shoveled my driveway before, and I think like after I turned 30, I'm like, I'm done shoveling this. I'll pay someone to do it. Not worth having a heart attack in the front yard.
That's not for me, but I still have to do it at this point because I do not have enough money to not do that.
Yeah, exactly. it's
See, that's when you're considered rich.
No, that's not true.
You're rich in life when you don't have to shovel snow.
I don't pay someone to shovel snow, and I'm far from rich. So I don't know if that's necessarily true for everybody.
You're rich. Rich in life.
If you say so. My bank account disagrees. I'm going to go with my floater here, and I know you're not going to want to talk about it, so I'm going to be quick with it, and that's the Packers. Made the playoffs in a rebuilding year. Jordan Love is very good. The second half of the season has been phenomenal. I was pretty iffy on him until a couple weeks ago, but the fact that in a year that looking at the roster they had, knowing what could be for them to still make the play. Now, do I think they're going to go into Dallas this coming weekend and pull one out? I really don't think so. I think that Dallas's experience is just too much for this young roster, but the Packers are one of those, and you make fun of me all the time. Like when they're bad, like the year that Aaron Rodgers got hurt and there was no chance that they were going to make the playoffs. Like I'll tune in and, check out if the games are on. This is before I had Red Zone. So I would watch if they were the Fox game, but like just follow the scores and stuff if they weren't. And it's been really fun to watch this second half. And I know you really don't want to spend any time on this.
No, I don't. I don't want to spend any more time on this.
It's been a really interesting last couple weeks, but I got a feeling this fun run is going to end here. But we'll see.
The one time I will cheer for the Cowboys.
Do you? No, I'm not doing this to rub it in. I'm not doing this to be like. Do you think that Jordan Love is better than what people thought at the beginning?
Oh yeah, he's a good quarterback. I'm not saying he's gonna be Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre, but he'll be a good quarterback for a while.
Yeah, I think if you can even just get a guy to stick around, 2 contracts, right? Rookie, obviously the rookie contract is weird because of, the years they had him sit, but sign him to his next deal and see where it goes. If you can get 8-10 years out of it, then that's most teams kill for.
It helps to have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers who you had enough time to help him get used to the NFL before he actually had to. It wasn't like his first year out there he had to go play.
Yeah, exactly. And there were some times, and I think people could run the tape back. We were talking about him. I can't remember what game it was to be exact. But this kid stinks. And what a weird 10 weeks it's been. It felt like it was probably 2 or 3 months ago where everybody was like, holy cow, this guy sucks. Everybody thought he was going to be good. And now I still am not 100% convinced how good he's going to be, just because it's going to take for me to say, like, okay, he's a legit, like, very good quarterback is next year when teams have had more time to study his tendencies and figure out his game. Like, can he make those adjustments then? But I think there's still a lot to prove, but so far so good.
Yeah, it's enough Packers talk. My floater is, hear me out here, T-Pain. And I've been seeing a lot of TikTok videos of T-Pain. That guy's voice is amazing. I know he had a lot of the auto-tune back in the day, but my goodness, that guy's got a good voice.
Dude, I always have heard, this going back to like high school when he started coming out, people saying how good his voice was even without auto-tune. And obviously like 15 years ago, it was different. You couldn't just, find him without auto-tune, as easy. But he actually won either the first or the second season of Masked Singer.
First. I think it was the first
season
of that, which I don't understand that show at all.
Oh, me and my wife used to watch that show all the time. It was very good. And that was when I really was like, holy cow, this guy does have an incredible voice. He's done a bunch of covers. I noticed that too, man. He's awesome.
Everything he sings is just awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you go through his catalog. The stuff he's doing now, obviously, is phenomenal. But I mean, his rap catalog was great. I mean, I'm a big T-Pain fan. So glad you brought that up. I didn't know if we were going to ever get to him.
Yeah, he needs his shine right now.
Yes, he does. Give T-Pain his flowers, everybody.
Yes.
Let's roll over to the next segment. We've got the TCF Sports Minute. We got to start off with the Bears. The season's done. No playoffs. 7-10. Hell of an improvement from last year.
That last game, though, it washes away a lot of things because they looked like they didn't want to be there. It looked like they were just out there for – they know they had one game left. Season was over with. There was not much fight in the game, and that's just disappointing because this game, we always want to beat the Packers.
Yeah, and
it did mean something, and you don't want them to make the playoffs. And you went out there and played like that. It was just pathetic, I think. And they looked so good those last 4 or 5 games, and you watched that last game, and I feel like that's all you're going to remember for the offseason.
Yeah, I kind of thought so too. Watching, I was, just watching on my phone. I was getting some things done, but like you said, like the best thing I saw out of the Bears there was Cairo Santos.
Yeah, who has always been good. He's probably the best player they've had the last 2 years. Is their guy who kicks field goals. But
I want to say Cairo Santos kicked like 97% this year. I know it was 95 going into the game.
They just re-signed him, which is awesome.
Yeah. But for that to be the highlight of the Bears pack, and like we should like take ourselves, like move ourselves back just a little bit, from being the Bears and the Packers fan. Like this is one of the most storied rivals in the NFL, and it never really felt like an old. This is probably just us seeing things through rose-colored glasses about the past, right? But it didn't feel like there was that.
The 325 start's also weird.
Yeah,
the Bears Packers should always be at noon or at nighttime. The 325 was dumb, but
it was kind of a stinker of a game. And to be honest, like to not just pile on the Bears here, the Packers didn't play very well either. They scored 17 points.
Well, and really, the Packers defense hasn't been that great lately, and the Bears offense just did nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks like a team who knew they were done with the season.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Looking at it right now, here we are, January 9th. We got a long way to go. You get the number 1 and the number 9 overall pick.
2 top 10 picks.
Where do you sit? Do you want Fields? Do you want
I want Fields. I like Fields, and I like if they could build around DJ Moore at wide receiver, Darnell Mooney. Man, you had such a great opportunity this season and just did nothing with it.
Yeah, I felt like he regressed this year.
Yeah, with a guy like DJ Moore out there, you got to put up way better stats than you have. You can't be getting worse.
Here's the thing, and I you can say what it is from an outsider's perspective, but like it doesn't really matter Eberflus, or I'm sorry, with Fields or Drake May or Caleb Williams, if Eberflus and Getsy are running things, because they haven't made a move yet. They haven't said definitively whether.
For really, I think Getsy's gone. I think Eberflus is most likely going to stick around. I know that sounds crazy, but
that's what I'm saying. If they keep Getsy, it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah,
you know?
I think that Getsy is most likely gone. But I want to see Justin Fields with more throwing opportunities, and you got Cole Kmet, tight end, who I think is going to be good for the next few years. You got DJ Moore. Let's build around that.
Where do you like? I think it would be incredible if the Bears could somehow trade out of that one spot, maybe trade to the 2 or the 3, whatever it is. If you somehow end up with Brock Bowers from Georgia at 9 and Marvin Harrison at 2, 3, 4, wherever you think, could you imagine?
Yeah, I just want them to at least get Marvin Harrison. If they do that, hopefully they don't go too low. But yeah, that would be best case scenario.
But also, like, I know everybody sees it now, but like, you also have to wait until, the combine. Because remember, everybody last year was talking about Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's been an okay player in Seattle. But there was a similar comparison from Marvin Harrison to him, and I didn't feel like Njigba truly lived up to the hype. And granted, he ended up falling. But if you would have looked at what people were saying back in like January of last year about him, people were talking about him being a possible top 5 pick. He didn't really. He dropped into the teens for a reason. Maybe something pans out. Combine workouts, whatever the case is. Maybe you don't want to reach on a wide receiver like that if you got Luke Getsy still calling the shots. But who knows?
With a guy like Marvin Harrison, you just take the chance, because I think he's going to be amazing.
Also, like
it should be a lot of things going on here. A lot of things going on here in the next few weeks, months, before the draft, and then even after the draft. Who knows? There's gonna be a lot going on there too.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I just feel like if Mike Vrabel can get fired, then why does Matt Eberflus have a job? Vrabel. Yeah, I don't get that.
I just think maybe different situations there, because they were expected to do this. I know the Bears weren't expected to like go to the playoffs, but they still. I mean, 7 and 10. I mean,
it is an improvement.
Yeah, 7 and 10, right?
Yeah,
and they were in it till about the second to last week.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's true.
That's true. I'm just tired of change.
That's a fair criticism. I don't blame you there. Moving from bad to worse, the Blackhawks, 12-23-2. They have 26 points. Right now, they are the second worst team in the NHL. The lone spot that we've talked about a million times over. Connor Bedard, youngest All-Star to ever make an appearance. Unfortunately, he will probably not be playing in that because he broke his jaw last Friday. Out 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, the guy who did that to him, jail maybe.
Yeah, I'm Chicago PD maybe open up some sort of investigation. But yeah, completely agree with you. He did take a couple licks for that. Yeah, that was unnecessary. But on the positive side, and like obviously, I only have been watching Blackhawks games because of Bedard, so I'm probably done watching Blackhawks games for about a month and a half. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you.
You know what? If anything, you're truthful.
Yeah, that is true. On the positive side, though, second worst record in the NHL. Another good shot. Maybe sneak the number 1 overall pick. Going to be another very good draft pick.
That'd be wild.
I mean,
the Bears and Blackhawks back-to-back number 1 picks.
Could you imagine how pissed non-Chicago fans of the NHL, like how many Boston Bruin fans are going to be on?
But also, if you're Chicago fans, you're like, okay, when's he going to give?
Yeah, seriously.
Now we got to be really good.
And I think that it's coming, but like either way, I think they're going to end up with a top 3 pick at this point. So it'd be something nice to pair with Bedard and see what happens there. So, yeah, it's going to be a bleak 4 months, at the United Center for the Blackhawks.
Especially depending on how long Bedard's out for.
And to be honest, the kid's 19. You don't need to rush him back. If he
No,
needs a little
but
more, granted, it's a broken jaw, not an ACL, but
I don't know which one I'd rather have. I think I might rather have an ACL.
Zach, for two guys are going to talk about their New Year's resolutions. We could probably go for a couple broken jaws, a couple jaws wired shut for a couple days. We probably drop
like
some
the
LBs.
worst.
It does, but you lose a lot of weight.
Take both ACLs before you take the. Oh my god, I can't even think about that.
I can't keep my mouth shut for 8 hours when I sleep, let alone if it was wired shut for 6 weeks. That would be unbearable.
But hockey's just insane.
Yes, it is. Yes, there's not a whole lot of broken jaws in other sports. Hockey, it just happens.
If I ever played it, I guess I would have a jaw. Well, they have to have like a protector.
Yes, the full cage, right? The full mask. But finally, to finish things up on a more positive note, the Bulls, 17-21, getting better. They're right now. They'd be the 9 seed. They'd be in the play-in tournament. So I count that as a playoff appearance. Zach LaVine is back. Not sure quite how to feel about that yet, but we'll see.
Playing pretty well.
They are. They. Other than the fact they needed overtime to beat the Hornets last night, who are not very good.
I've never said that Zach LaVine is not a good basketball player. He's a very good basketball player. But it's can you win with him on the team?
I've said this forever. I don't know. I don't think he's good enough to be even a 2 on an NBA championship team. He maybe, depending on the right guy. Like if you put him,
he's going to have those games where maybe he scores 30, 40, goes off, but you just can't like consistently lean on him to be the guy every night. And that's what.
Well, not even that. He can't defend his own shadow.
Yeah, when he's getting paid, he should be that. Yeah,
that's but Kobe White.
The thing. The defense was so much better with him out.
Well, yeah. I mean, the fact that last night it took overtime to beat the Hornets, 119-112 on Monday night. The Charlotte Hornets have 8 wins on the season. Okay, they're 8-26.
In the NBA,
that's garbage.
Defense should just be effort.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you should be good at defense. It's just are you willing to put in the effort?
I have a theory. You hear a lot of, and this might ruffle some feathers, but you hear a lot of like old school basketball fans. They always say, well, no one plays defense in the NBA. But I have a very, what I think is a good theory on that is not true in the sense that I think offensive efficiency and offense in the NBA is so good now. It is insanely hard to be able to minimize that offensive efficiency, even with really good defense. You know what I mean? Like, they score 100 points.
He just doesn't care.
Yeah, that is true. That is frustrating. I'm not saying.
I know what you mean, though. There's guys out there who are trying, but also they're just playing the best players in the world.
Yeah, there's guys out there that come off the bench and still, are insanely efficient and can score. Like that didn't like 10 years ago, there were playoff games being played in the 80s.
Well, when Zach LaVine was out, you would turn the Bulls game on, and there was a few guys who you wouldn't even know playing well.
Yeah, exactly. Fun to watch right now. Hopefully they can keep it up. Hopefully they're getting healthy. But I'll be honest, I'm not going to lie. This team's not good enough to go to an Eastern Conference Finals. Get these guys playing good ball and start trading pieces. Yeah. Get Zach LaVine back. Let him play well. Like Caruso, I love the guy. He's one of the hardest workers on the team, but trade him for an asset.
I'm not saying LaVine's got to go in the fact that he's not playing well. It's just like we got to restart. Like he's not going to be on the team when we're hopefully trying to win the Eastern Conference Finals. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's got to start now.
I'll be honest, they're probably not going to move. Jesus, how am I drawing? Patrick Williams. They're probably not going to move him, even though I wish they would.
Quite a bit better.
He still stinks. Don't move Kobe White. And to be honest, outside of those two, like even the first and second year guys, like keep them. But everybody else is for sale. Like if you could come up with a package, if you want Vooch, what are you willing to give? You know what I mean? Like just tear it all down because this team's not good enough to go to. If you're truly honest and you say your goal is to win an NBA championship, you can't look at this team in the mirror and say this team's good enough to win an NBA championship. They're not.
No, you gotta trade the guys who are getting older.
Yep. And for I wouldn't hate if they kept DeMar, just because I think that as you're going through this stuff, you're gonna have to keep somebody that can score the ball.
Yeah. But just depends. If somebody gives you the right deal.
Exactly. You never know. You got to wait and see what's out there. Speaking of good deals, Zach, do you know what is a good deal?
What?
Our friends over at Connect Roasters Coffee. They make the best quality coffee that you are going to find, that you're going to put in your body to start your day. I promise you that. Make sure you check them out online at connectroasters.com. Follow them on Twitter at Connect Roasters. If you're in Bourbonnais, get over to their storefront. Get you some coffee.
App now?
They have we've been to the roasting house, the headquarters there. Great people, great coffee. They work with Dom. They work with Ian Happ. Listen, those guys know good coffee. They're not going to drink bad coffee. Ian Happ's not cracking open a Folgers can every morning, all right? You don't win gold gloves on Folgers, okay? You win gold gloves on Connect Roasters, so make sure you check out our friends over at Connect Roasters Coffee. So as always, a big shout out to our friends over in Bourbonnais at Connect Roasters. Man, go check them out. We got NFL playoffs this weekend, so we're going to jump into our NFL playoff preview real quickly. Zach won the TCF pick show. No big deal. We really didn't do the last 2 weeks, so it's an asterisk win, but he did win it. So congratulations to Zach. We'll give him that.
Thank you.
First win in 4 years, so I'm coming back for the title next year, so be ready. But yeah, really good year for you.
You get a trophy.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. I got a couple ideas. I don't know if you're gonna like it, but
no.
We'll figure something out. I believe Pigoy finished in second, I finished in third, and Maddie finished in last. But we'll be back next year and we'll make sure we do all 18 weeks. The 17th and 18th week on Christmas and New Year's kind of got the best of us this year, but Zach won. That's all that matters.
All that matters.
Well, we've got NFL playoff action this weekend, so we're just going to go through the games here real quick. Go through some of the spreads, maybe.
Wild card weekend.
I keep forgetting that they changed the playoff format a couple years back. Didn't they add a team or?
Yeah, that's how the Bears made it that 1 year.
Yeah, that's right. So the playoff, I have the. Oh, here it is. Okay, I thought I was on the wrong thing. Saturday, the Browns are hosting the Texans. Browns 2.5-point favorites. Oh no, I'm sorry. That game is in Houston. It is not in. It is not in Cleveland. I'll be honest. I would like to see the Browns win. I kind of like
Texans are on a run right now.
They're almost like young and dumb. You know,
yeah, they're having fun.
And not even to mention that their coach has that experience now. Did D'Amico Ryan? Is that his name? He didn't have a ton of playoff experience when he played for the Texans, but a wily NFL vet like him. I don't know. Just being at home, I kind of like the Texans here, but I think if I had it, I would like to see Joe Flacco and the Browns just keep on rolling.
Yeah, I think you would. The people want the Browns to win, but I think the Texans are going to win.
Yeah, I kind of think so too. But in the same breath of saying, the Texans are young and dumb, they also might get too, out experienced here. Yeah.
But being at home will help.
I agree. You just kind of go out there and, just sling it around and see what happens. The other Saturday game, the Dolphins go to Kansas City. Kansas City 4.5-point favorites. The Chiefs are going to kill the Dolphins. It's going to be cold in Kansas City. I want the Dolphins
to win, though. I'm tired of the Chiefs. I'm tired of the Chiefs.
But the Dolphins have not played well the last couple weeks. They're limping into the playoffs.
Very cold.
And those candy-ass uniforms in the winter in Kansas City are not going to play well. The Chiefs, they've been there too many times. They know what they're doing. I think they cover that 4 points easy. But I want the Dolphins to win. That's what sucks.
Put me down for a Dolphins upset.
Dolphins money line. All right. Sunday, the first game of the day, Steelers, Bills. Bills are -10 I think that
take
Pittsburgh's going
Steelers,
to cover.
Steelers spread for sure.
Yeah, but I think it just kind of the opposite of the Bills, like or of the Dolphins. The Bills are really like kind of hitting their stride at the right moment. I do think they win the game,
but I like Josh Allen a lot, but the way he plays, it's always throw too many interceptions at the end of the game. You never know.
And it just doesn't feel like Mike Tomlin gets beat by 11 points very often, especially in the.
I'm just saying, the way that Josh Allen's been playing the last few weeks, it's been good, but it's also been kind of crazy too.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. I don't think. I think I would rather go down with the ship and betting that Mike Tomlin's not going to get beat by 11.
Take that spread for sure.
Yeah, that one just feels silly. The 3:30 game, the Packers travel to Dallas. Dallas is a 7.5-point favorite. Obviously,
I think that's a pretty large spread too, but I just feel like they're going to get it done. I'm not saying they're going to win by a touchdown or whatever, but Dallas is they're so good.
I think in kind of the same vein as I talked about the Texans is kind of how I feel about the Packers, right? You go in young and dumb, you're the underdog, you're going into Dallas. And let's not remember, Dallas has a beautiful history of choking in the playoffs. And
the only problem for the Packers is it's not home for them.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But maybe with a team as young as they are, like that.
And also at Jerry World, do you really feel a home field advantage?
That's an interesting question. I've never really thought about that. Yeah,
I'm not saying that there's not a lot of fans there, but it's so big.
Yeah, that's true. Obviously, I don't. If I truly step back from being a Packers fan, I don't think that they're better than the Cowboys. Now, but do I think they can, just keep feeding the running game, throw the passes especially if Christian Watson plays, they got a chance to keep it close, and then Mike McCarthy will probably bumble his way and find a way for the Cowboys to lose, and then they'll keep him another year, and they'll just keep doing the same thing over and over. But yeah,
anything can happen in the NFL playoffs. It's
exactly
a wild game.
Arguably the game I'm looking forward to the most outside of the Packers game. The Rams go to Detroit. Matty Stafford going into Detroit.
Turn of events.
I mean, this is people always joke, the NFL script writers, like they nailed it. The Packers going to Mike McCarthy.
That's a movie right there.
Yeah, the Packers and Mike McCarthy in the playoffs in Dallas. And then you get the bigger story, I think, is Matthew Stafford, who is a Hall of Famer. The Lions are only a 3-point favorite at home. Like, I do think.
Imagine them making it to the playoffs for the first time in all these years, and then Matthew Stafford comes in and just beats them.
Call me crazy. I think the Rams are going to win this game.
It's a lot of pressure on the Lions.
That's exactly it. They haven't been to the playoffs, or don't have a playoff win since like 1991 or whatever.
The Rams are a good team.
Yes, and like they've been playing better lately. They played close with the Bengals not the Bengals. I'm sorry. Who am I thinking of? The Ravens a couple weeks ago. The Lions just ever since that the Packers beat them and the Bears should have beat them twice, I started, being very skeptical on the Lions, and I think the Rams are going to go in and win this game, man. Call me crazy.
It'd be cool. It'd be kind of funny.
It'd be very interesting. And like everybody, it's great for Detroit. Screw Detroit. I
don't like the Lions. They're still in the division. I do not like them.
Yeah, not even that. Like, have you been to Detroit? Like, I don't like Detroit.
I don't think I've ever
feel like no, you're not missing much. I feel like the way that Joakim Noah felt about Cleveland is kind of how I feel about Detroit. It doesn't do anything for me.
But yeah, I still think Rams could pull a big upset.
I agree. The last playoff game of the weekend, Monday night, the Eagles head to Tampa Bay. I know I'm just being an idiot here because I think that the Eagles are a better football team.
They haven't been playing well.
Win this game.
They ended the season not playing well.
1-5. Yeah. 1-5, dude. Come on. We joked about the Dolphins limping into the playoffs and the Lions kind of limping in. Like, the Eagles are the definition of limping into the playoffs.
See if Baker Mayfield can do something.
I hope they can do it. I like Baker Mayfield. I think he got a raw deal.
They're gonna be really good games this weekend.
Yeah. And the Monday night, I like that, especially. And I've talked about this. I've written like 5 blogs in my life. One of them is how much I hate Philadelphia fans. So I'm cheering for the Bucks. Bucks money line. Screw Philadelphia. I hope they keep Stefanski. I hope they keep everybody, and they just keep losing in the playoffs. I love it. Screw Philadelphia. So before we move out of the NFL, Zach, let's do this real quick. Who do you think is going to be playing for the NFC Championship?
Well, I guess I don't really know the setup on each side.
I think they reseed everything.
I'd have to think Eagles-Rams.
Oh, you're forgetting somebody.
Who?
You're forgetting a team that doesn't play this weekend.
Oh, the 49ers?
Yeah, you think
no, I don't. They didn't end the season very well either.
I think it's going to be 49ers Rams. And I say this also, I should say this. I have had a future on the 49ers since August. So
well, that helps, yeah.
I'll take the 49ers and the Rams. That feels insane to say. The 49ers will kill the Rams in that, though. How about the AFC?
I'm just not sure.
All right, I'll give you mine. Ravens, Bills.
I'm going to go Bills. Texans?
All right, so off of that, who do you got in the Super Bowl and winning it? I'll do mine. Give me the Ravens versus the 49ers. I also have a future on the Ravens. And the Ravens win the Super Bowl this year.
I'm going to go Bills, Rams. Bills win the Super Bowl.
All right, folks, take that to the bank.
Dude, I think the Rams they can make a run.
I love it, dude. Usually I'm the one that makes wild picks. I like where you're going with that.
Dude, really and truthfully, for when they won the Super Bowl, I mean they still got Aaron Donald, they still got Matthew Stafford.
That is true. And they got Puka Nacua now. So
yeah.
Cooper Kupp,
superstar.
Ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Oh man. Take that. Get your futures in right now. Get you a Rams future. Get you
trying to win people some money.
So you've got a 2 seed and a 6 seed playing for the Super Bowl.
Hey, the NFL is weird.
I love it. Let's see what happens, man. We're going to jump into some college basketball. A little quick rundown. We haven't done a ton of college basketball talk here. I love college basketball. Zach likes college basketball. Now with the college football season over, we're going to start doing this more regularly. I'll kind of do it like I do with the college football slates. So we'll start off with the national top 5. Purdue at 1, Houston at 2, Kansas at 3, UConn at 4, and Tennessee at 5. It's been so much interchanging. Purdue's been one of the consistent top 5 this year. Any of those other 5 teams, though, tickle your fancy come March, Zach?
I always like UConn. Hurley's crazy.
Cheer against Bobby Hurley, or what's his name? It's not Bobby Hurley. It's his brother. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Mr. Hurley, Coach Hurley, Danny Hurley. That's I think what it is.
Danny Hurley. He's awesome.
And even like, Tennessee. I mean, Rick Barnes. They're playing really well in the SEC's. Tough. Bill Self.
Kansas is always in it.
Kansas is always there. I'll run through the Illinois teams. This is going to take just a little bit longer than football because there's a lot more Division I basketball teams than football teams. But some good, couple good, a lot mediocre, and one really, really bad. Illinois ranked number 9th in the country. They are 11-3, obviously, without Terrence Shannon. Just Google it if you don't know what's going on there. That's a bad situation. I thought Illinois was good enough to make an Elite 8, a Final Four run, and then that story about him happens. I don't think Illinois is good enough to get out of the second round now. I'll be very honest with you. That's a big punch in the gut there. Northwestern also very good, also 11-3. kind of on a little bit of a down skid. They got smoked by Illinois last weekend. Also in the state in the 10-win category, Western Illinois 10-6, SIU Carbondale 11-4, Bradley 10-5, and Loyola 10-5. So kind of on the spectrum, you've got Illinois Northwestern, down here with 11 wins, and then those teams just a little bit behind. In the very mediocre category, I put NIU, who is 6-9, teetering on the not very good. Very bad category. Illinois State 8-7, Eastern 8-8, and UIC 8-7, and then Chicago State right behind at 7-15. They've already played 22 games, which is insane. But they're not in a conference, and all these schools start conference play. They're the only independent left, so they have to get all these games in November and December because teams don't have openings in January and February. And then at the bottom of the barrel, DePaul 3-11. DePaul stinks.
I'm going to see DePaul in February.
I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully you're going to see them play someone good because they are awful.
I think Georgetown.
Yeah, who's playing better than they have been?
But bad.
Luckily for DePaul, they play at a nice stadium. There's some good restaurants around the area. But holy cow, they suck.
Bad.
They are very bad.
A team like that in the city should not be that bad.
The problem is it's a very high academic school. But you know what? In the same breath, Michigan can do it. These schools that are considered, high level, education. Northwestern does it. Northwestern's harder to get in than DePaul. So don't give me that. The DePaul fans, that you stink. I picked 5 quality games this weekend. All of them are on Saturday. We've got Northwestern at Wisconsin. Wisconsin, not an easy place to play. And Northwestern, like I said, kind of got smacked around by Illinois last weekend. I think that should be a good one. That would be worth a trip to Madison if we weren't busy on Saturday.
Is that the start of Big Ten play?
No, Big Ten play's been going on for a couple weeks now, but you remember, because there's so many teams in the conference, they have to start it a lot earlier.
Yeah, and it's a quick travel for Northwestern fans.
Yeah, very quick, and I think that's going to be a really tight game. Wisconsin's, had their
fun environment.
Absolutely. Oklahoma at Kansas. Oklahoma's 9th in the country. Kansas is 3rd.
Kansas but at Kansas, crazy. Like the people who they pretty much camp out to go to the games there. That's wild.
Fog Allen, man, it's one of those places I would love to get to a game at some point.
Bill Self, I like him.
I like Bill Self. I like Bill Self a lot. He did screw Illinois over, but that's neither here nor there. I think it's just a really big task for Oklahoma to go into Kansas. Now, I think they do have the firepower to do it. Oklahoma's been playing very, very good this year. But that's a very tall task. That's going to be a tight game, I think. I don't think either team's walking out with an easy victory. A team that's playing tonight also has to turn around and play on Saturday. A team that got upset tonight, the number 2 Houston just lost like an hour ago to Iowa State. They then turn around and have to travel to Fort Worth. They play TCU, who is not bad. I shouldn't say, that they're a bad team, but
with a quick turnaround.
Quick turnaround, and that's a big travel to go from Ames, Iowa to Fort Worth. But I think Houston coming off a bounce back is going to be able to take care of TCU. I like Houston a lot. They just had a bad showing tonight.
I like Houston's jerseys.
Can't go wrong with that, man. I'm trying to look and see here. I want to say I can't think of TCU's record off the top of my head. But remember, TCU had a really nice tournament run a couple years back. And anytime in the Big 12 when you have to go on the road, I mean, it doesn't matter who it is. It's not going to be easy.
Trying to pull in an environment like that, it's probably going to be pretty loud.
Exactly. And an in-state rivalry, you got to love that. A surprising team, Clemson, is ranked in the top 25. Not really a school you think of, as far as a basketball.
I would love
school.
Clemson basketball to be better than Clemson football because I do not like Dabo.
Yeah, we're very anti-Dabo on this podcast, but
a lot of people are.
Yeah, he's a bag. sorry, where was I at? Boston College. Boston College playing really well. They have a lot of really good young players. But they go to Clemson, who, like I said, playing very good here lately.
You know what? College basketball starts, 11 o'clock, noon?
Yeah, 11 o'clock.
With no football on now.
It's the perfect one, especially if you have multiple TVs like me and you. Just throw a couple games on and follow them along. I love it. I personally love it. Boston College is sitting at 10-4 right now. Pretty solid year. They're 10-4, and Clemson's 11-3, and Clemson's ranked 21st in the country. So big opportunity for Boston College, especially with March, looming closer and closer to put themselves on the map. This would be a really good win on the road at Clemson. And then the last one I had, St. John's, who's been a little disappointing, but they go to Creighton, who's been playing really, really good ball this year. But this is another one, kind of like I said with Boston College. If St. John's can pull this off and knock off a very good Creighton team on the road, I mean, they're 11-4 as well. Creighton's 11-4. This is a resume builder game. I think this would be one that is really going to be really, really big. Don't forget, Rick Pitino is the coach at St. John's, guy that has that experience. I wouldn't be shocked if St. John's goes in and knocks off the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So let us know what games you guys are watching this week. And let us know anything. Like I said, this is kind of a new segment for us, jumping back into college basketball. We haven't watched as much as I know I've watched quite a bit. I know Zach's been caught up in football. So let us know what you guys want to hear. If you got any questions on college football, anything for us to toss around. Sorry, college basketball, not college football. That season's over. But let's wrap things up as we always do, Zach. We have a TCF top 3. And since this is the first show of the new year, we figured we would do our top 3 New Year's resolutions for 2024. Nothing too crazy unless you got something crazy. You got something you want to get started off with?
You know what? I'm already doing it, but no booze. I'm going boozeless in 24.
Attaboy. You started it. We'll call the first 3 months the warm up. Now you're in the game. Now you're in the game, man. That's awesome. Mine's the same as everybody. You guys make fun of me. I talk about going to the gym on here, more often than I should. But obviously with the little guy, it's more and more difficult. And you guys know, I coach basketball. So from like November 1st until March 1st, I rarely go to the gym. Still losing weight. My goal, I weigh 245 right now. I would love to get down to 230. So that's walking more and just not eating like an absolute douchebag. So I think that's my number 1 this year. My number 2 this year, this is going to sound corny, but just spend as much time with my kid as I can, not to get sappy, but we're part of that generation where not that others didn't, that's just something that I want to make sure I prioritize this year, especially, dude, he's getting so big and now he's crawling. I can't even contain him.
And go quick.
And especially once the weather gets nice, go out and play in the yard a little bit.
Next thing you know, he's walking, and then next thing you know, he's talking, and
then because he's already crawling and I can't catch him. Once he starts walking, I'm sure I'm in trouble. And once he starts talking, he's going to be just like me, and he ain't going to stop. Just try to enjoy the little moments.
My second one's going to be just eating better. Just learning how to make dinner more and not just eating just random shit and actually eating good food.
That's so true.
I'm going to make some mac and cheese or some chicken tenders or something like that. It's I'm going to make something real.
I might get the part of that, losing weight where I do so good until 8 o'clock. And then I'm like, it sounds really good right now.
9 o'clock at night, it's like, man.
A Pepsi and a Tate's cookie sound incredible at 9:30. We're
all day you're doing something, you're out of the house, or you're not just sitting there thinking about food, and then 9 o'clock at night you're sitting down relaxing. You're like, man, I want to eat all the food now.
Yeah, and you guys know me. You've seen our food reviews. I've always got snacks laying around the house.
It's not in Boomy's basement. There's something there.
Right over there. There's 2 different types of Twixes and 4 different type of Kit Kats. Literally right over there.
What's my third one gonna be?
I'm probably gonna have a couple honorable mentions too.
You know what? It's not like it's a real top 3, so I'm gonna take working out also. I need to start working out. I got an elliptical now and a bike in my house. So now I have no excuses at all. So,
there you go. Yep, we got that set up the
I'll
other
say
day.
using the equipment I have.
Yep, for sure. For sure. My last one, and I don't even know. I've got a couple honorable mentions, so I'll try to run through those. But I think just like keeping it, I want to sell more of like the crap that I've accumulated. You know what I mean? I've talked about it a few times. Like I resell a bunch of stuff online, like jerseys and hats and shoes and just kind of random stuff. But like I did a much better job of kind of kickstarting that last summer. Sold quite a bit of stuff on Mercari. If you are looking for any stuff, like hit me up on Twitter because I'll send you the link on Mercari. I got some good stuff on there. But like just kind of like thinning out. Like I got really bad. Like I've talked about it a million times. You brought it up, like how many hats I own. And just like thinning out like what I have. Just because anyone who's been in my basement knows there's just stuff. And like I don't want it to sound like I just like have piles of crap.
We have stuff that we need to get rid of.
Yeah, and like you can see it in the back corner. I can't like over here, like all this like sports memorabilia that I've bought that like just kind of sit on the shelf now. Stuff like that. So maybe just thin out my herd of stuff that I've accumulated. Other stuff I put down for New Year's resolutions. This is gonna play some more video games because last year, obviously, with
I'm literally going to say the same thing.
The baby being born,
and also more like on Twitch and stuff.
Yeah, my PlayStation got hacked, so I have to create a new profile. That was a pain. I lost my profile on there, so I have to re-download a bunch of stuff. I got an Xbox One, and I've literally just like set it up, but just like sit back and play some more video games. I think I'm definitely going to get the college football game. That's 2 years from now. But maybe pick up like MLB The Show this year. I did get it on Switch last year, but I don't know. Play more video games was on my list for some reason.
I'm with you on that.
What else? Did you have anything else down, Zach?
I don't know.
We need to go on more walks. We did a bunch of walks.
No, I need to golf more.
I knew that was coming. We started doing some walks right before.
Walking more.
Maybe we'll toss him in the stroller and take him on some walks once basketball season gets done.
Yeah, I like the golfing one though.
Yeah, I'm with you because I definitely did not golf enough.
Yeah, you actually need to golf more and
for me, get my membership worth.
I guess I need to golf the same amount.
Yeah, exactly. Same amount or more. You got to up those numbers, dude. Let us know what your guys' New Year's resolutions are. I'm sure I'll come up with a bunch of them as soon as I sit down. But, spend less time on my phone. I need to delete TikTok off my phone so bad. We had a snow day today.
I love TikTok.
Hung out with my son and watched
TikTok live at like 5 in the morning. If you just sit there and watch it, it's hilarious.
You sent me the most random, you sent me like people sleeping on the street.
It's
like
crazy. TikTok live is nuts.
You sent me some of the funniest stuff.
It's crazy what people do on TikTok live.
Maybe one of my resolutions will be like to start making TikToks for the TCF page because we never even talked about it on here. We have a
TikTok live like in the morning and like stuff like that.
We got to do something more, maybe more TikTok. I started off by saying I need to get off of TikTok, and it ended with we need to start posting TikToks.
Yeah, we'll live together.
Yeah, exactly. There's maybe a little less TV. I don't know, but I really only watch sports on it. So I don't know. Use my Blackstone and my smoker more. That was on my list as well.
That'd be good for everyone.
Because I use them just not as much as I should. Exactly. But thank you guys for rocking with us for episode 214. As always, we appreciate your guys' support. First podcast of the new year. Trying to get back on a regular schedule. It'll get a lot easier after February, just with my schedule and everything. But as always, like we said, thanks for joining us. You can find us on Twitter or X or whatever you call it, typical_Chicago, Facebook and Instagram. Give those pages a like. All the content in video form on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe there. Wherever you get your podcast, subscribe, rate, and review. You find me on Twitter at BoomingTCF right down here in the corner, as you can see on YouTube, and in the bottom of Zach's little screen over there at Zalilia TCF. I know it's hard to do it when you're backwards. They're like down in that general direction. So make sure you find him on Twitter. Make sure you follow Maddie at schools_01. But we appreciate you guys as always. Thanks for joining us. That was episode 214 of Typical Chicago Fans. We love you all.
Peace.